On today's episode, we're going to improve the Norsea Cruiser by installing some window tint. Gonna look awesome. Nope. Gonna screw every window up. It's gonna end up getting folds in it, and I'm gonna end up ripping it all off, taking it to a professional. Alright, so what have I gotten here? I normally would take my car to a professional. I had 2 or 3 over the last 3 decades that I used to go to for both me and my wife. Sadly, they've all retired and are out of business now. And I haven't actually done a tint work on my last couple of cars. They had the clear tint on it, and I didn't spend the money or take the time to extract it off there to put tint on there. But this one, for change, is a virgin car as far as not having any clear tint, just got the factory glass in it. So really want to put the tint on, one, because of Florida sun, it's just brutal even with the AC, and also to hopefully help with the preserving the interior, especially on such a low mileage car. So what I ended up doing is, because I have a budget I want to stay within, I went to Amazon and bought Truline. And I got the 3M grade. I don't know if it's really 3M, but I got the 3M grade, so advertised, spend a little extra on that. And I got the installation kit as well, that's got the different squeegees and the cutters. Now, of course, I got cutters and everything, but it was only like 20 bucks to get the kit, which also includes a water bottle. I have plenty of water bottles, and but what the heck, you know? And anyway, so we've got our side tint, rear window tint, of course side tint for all 4 doors, and then I did also string for the windshield tint. Now, how do you mix your solution? There's a lot of different ways of doing this, but I use what I have. First recommendation is baby shampoo and distilled water. Second recommendation would be filtered water and Dawn dish soap if you have it, but don't over soap. So I have a 16-ounce bottle. I put 2 or 3 drops instead of the usual 4 to 6 of Dawn dish soap in the filtered water, and that's what we'll use to spray the windows down and get our slip, so we can place the tint where we want and then squeegee it out. Now, in the kit, one of the things that I initially saw was these, and I think that that's probably key to pay attention to this, because as you're peeling the adhesive side, you know, protective film off while you're fixing to stick it onto the window, you use these on both sides to peel. That way you're not getting fingerprints and stuff within, inside or on top of the window. I think that's pretty cool. Probably standard edition. Now again, a lot of you may have already done this yourselves. I do usually prefer to go to a professional, but I decided, what the heck, let me try my hand on it, you know. It's not going to be a long video, because putting on tint is going to be like watching paint dry, but I did want to at least show the before and after, and just talk a little bit about the kit that I got. This full kit with shipping was like, well, I get free shipping, but with tax was $179. So they have cheaper kits out there. Well, window tint's one of those things. I may cheapen out a lot of stuff, I do, but window tint's probably not one of them I want to do that with. I probably could have went with a little better and a little more, but this is the mid-range, so I thought I'd try it out, and hopefully, you know, as long as I have the car, you know, it'll be years before I have to deal with this again. So anyways, here we go. We're going to apply the tint, and hopefully we can have a really cool looking car and a functional, you know, reason to have tint on there. Now, one of the things I'm going to be fighting today is obviously the elements. So it's a beautiful day out. That's not the problem. It's dry, and it's low, mid-temperature, mild. That's not the problem. The problem obviously is going to be sun. I could probably pull the Mustang out and try to work in the garage, but it's too tight with the Pontiac in here. So I brought the tint out just so I can keep direct sunlight off of these windows, because once we spray them, obviously, and those windows are hot, it's going to dry fast, the slip solution, and we don't want that. So what I failed to mention Two things. So to clean it, regular old alcohol and a microfiber cloth. That way we can get the impurities off of the window. I think that's pretty self-explanatory and straightforward. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, because remember I said I had not done this before, so I'm going to start with a small window here in the back. That way, if I screw it up, it's not one of the bigger, pieces. One, hopefully won't stand out. Two, if I have to order a replacement, it'll be the cheaper kind. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not at risk of screwing up the bigger pieces. I also think I'll test our slip solution before I get started. I want to see if it really is as slippery, as it should be in order to position the tent. So, just want to test that. Might help if I turn it on. I think that's probably going to work. Pretty slick on the outside. I got a lot of bubbles. Again, we didn't want to over soak, but anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off because we're going to start over fresh. And I'll probably hit that again. I am going to hit that again with alcohol just to make sure that, initially we have no impurities on there. Again, use a microfiber cloth. That way we don't have any dust or lint. All right, so if the company followed their own instructions, this is going to be the driver's rear quarter window. So just testing it. I haven't peeled anything yet. I want to see what it looks like. And it does appear like it's, cut a little larger than the window, which makes sense to me. I would have preferred it to be exact, but hey, we know that that's not always going to be perfect, and you're going to have a little bit of overlay. So yeah, I can tell. We're going to do a little trimming. Maybe not actually. Yeah, we're probably going to be doing a little trimming, and that's okay. So peeling these little things off, I've already got one off and on the tent side, and just trying to peel these. These are a little bit of a bugger to get loose. But in a way, that's also a good thing. That means the adhesive on these are pretty strong. So once they're on the tent, hopefully it will peel apart easily without these slipping off. So we'll see how that works out. All right, so I tried putting two stickers together and pull it. I think that's what they wanted you to do, but maybe not. Actually, what I've done is I ended up abandoning because it was just peeling off with no problem. But I just barely pulled on this and it's separating. So this is the adhesive side and it is separating. So that's good. So I'm just think I'm gonna hit this with the solution. We'll go ahead and peel this and put it on. Here we go. First try. We are learning together. Generously, they say. So we'll lather that puppy up. I think I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to go ahead and slip this on without peeling the rest of it. Let's see. And already, I did not hit that top part like I should have. Very, very careful, and don't be shy on putting this on the window. All right, there we go. That's what we want to see. We want to see it moving. Got this position. Wow, that's actually fitting in there really nicely. Wow. And there's going to be a little bit of trimming, I believe. But I'll tell you what. Yeah, there's a little bit of trim. So they give you several different type of these squeegees. So I am going to get into this corner. It doesn't want to stick up here for some reason. Go from center out and squeegee that water. And then Here's what it looks like with the door open. And let's see what it looks like. Now, of course, just one window, right? But I think I can see a, you know, nice difference. Now, once all the others are tinted, of course, that'll get a lot darker. But yeah, there we go. Well, I got it, but not without getting my fingertips on it. So that's what it is. Alright, so what's my first impression after doing a couple pieces? For the most part, it's not the tint's fault that, you know, I'm an amateur and never done this before. So with that said, it's so far easy to put on. Pretty stoked about it. I'm not unhappy that I spent the money so far, but we're just getting into it, right? How am I going to feel, you know, a couple months down the road, a couple weeks, a couple years? You know, time will tell. But for $179, I think that's what it costs, $179, $175, to get tint on the car is better than nothing, especially in Florida. And so I'm stoked to at least get this done. It'll look nice, and it might have a few mistakes, but you know, that's okay. We're gonna forge on and get this tint on, and we'll see what it looks like when we're done. Alright, so I'm taking a break from the tint. Comes to find out I'm not very good at this. Oh, the front passenger window, I made an egregious mistake. Knowing that I have to move the window down, I wanted to start top down and tuck it into below the weather strip, an internal weather stripping, and then move the window up and cut it. When I did that, I forgot to move the window up and I cut it too short. So tried to adjust to make up for the difference. Thought maybe I could leave some room at the top and still make it work, but no, I'll end up definitely having to order a new piece for the front driver's door window for sure. So I took a break because I'm trying not to get frustrated over it. I'm actually not frustrated up until now, just very upset with myself. Completely on me for not paying attention. I was able to get the rear window done in that same manner, but yeah, just one slip and it was all over with that piece. It's on there, but it doesn't. And I'm also fighting the sun on that side too. Again, I should be in an enclosed garage where I have no heat hitting those windows on that side, or I should have turned the car around, put it on the other side of the tent. Earlier I meant to do that, but I thought, well, I'll do one side of the back, do the other side of the back, kind of mimic my moves, and I should have just kept going down the one side, but I was trying to attack it logically. But still, with doing the tent yourself and not having probably the right tools, I think the big challenge is trying to handle the tent once you get the adhesive side off and not get fingerprints or dirt somehow up on that adhesive, because once you do that, it just doesn't stick, and then you have a spot that's not right. So anyways, break time, and we'll get back at it. that didn't go as well as I had hoped. Yeah, I guess I am not a tint guy. Oh, well, I had to try. Did I lose a Saturday? Yeah, and a lot of time I hate that. But, you know, I've always wanted to try putting tint on, and the side rears went well, and the visor went well, but destroyed the front two. Probably should have pulled the door panels and then the molding, the weather stripping, but I didn't, and that was my fault. Not real sure what happened here. Don't know if you can tell, but it's definitely ghetto. Pre-cut, it did not have the third brake light in it, so I made a template, and I thought better of it. I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll just measure, and I'll put like a small slit in the middle, and then I'll spray it all down as you saw, put it up on the window, and then I'll work my way out and cut it as I went. And it didn't cut clean, but then even though the tint is not all the way to the ends, it just won't lay down. It's like it's more tint than window, but yet I clearly do not touch the ends. No, there's that small dot matrix on there, but most tint goes all the way up to that. So not really sure what happened back here. Saturated it like it said to on both the tint adhesive and the window, but it just will not lay down. And then of course it's still got air bubbles in it, and a little bit of it folded up on itself, so it'll come off. Probably still determined to get tint for the front windows so it at least matches, but I think the lesson on this one is, for me at least, I'm probably not going to do tint again. I will pay someone to have it done. There's a reason why there's specialists out there, and they definitely have there's a trick to the trades that they know, and they could do this very quickly, just like they did with my wife's car. I just was hoping that I could do this on a budget, and it just didn't work out. So, but you know what? Lesson learned. And I did have fun doing it, though. I do enjoy this type of stuff, especially something new that I haven't tried before. I am very disappointed it didn't turn out well, but that's okay. We will correct it. And anyways, but for now, I'm gonna finish cleaning up the car, and we'll go out to dinner. This time, we will go out to dinner because it's not pouring. All right, it's second day on the project that's taken way too long. It should. So I can't accept defeat. That's just me. Yesterday, several things did go right. We were able to get tint on the two rear doors, the roll-up window and the quarter, and on the visor. We destroyed, meaning me, destroyed the tint for the front doors, primarily because I was having trouble getting this front corner down inside the weather stripping. Now, I know most tint people don't even take the door panels off. They pull that back. Well, this stuff is extremely stiff. So I think today what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the door panels one by one, try to pull that weather stripping off, and then see if I can apply the tint to the window. And once I get that put on, then we can put everything back together. I think that's what I'm going to do. I did end up getting 2 rolls of tint, that one that will cover the front doors, and then one solely for the rear window. That, I think, there's two things I did in mistake. One, and most importantly, I did not heat shrink that rear window. It didn't cross my mind. I did some research, didn't come up, but because of the curvature of the window and the size, it's recommended to heat shrink. Well, I don't have a heat gun, but I do have a old blow dryer that I use in the garage, it gets extremely hot. I use it all the time to heat shrink stuff, so I'm going to try that with the rear window. So we're going to try. The second thing is cutting it. It didn't seem to want to cut right, even though I had a real sharp X-Acto blade and a metal one at that. I mean, even a metal casing. It was actually a decent product, but around some of the smaller notches, I think I'm going to try to pre-cut that and see if I can't then just trim that away a little bit if I need to. I also tried to keep the third brake light from being tinted over, but that also was a disaster trying to cut around that. I cut a slit because I thought maybe once I cut a slit it would relieve the tension, and then I could cut around that, and it just didn't work. So I see where that can be removed. There's 2 screws on the end, and I'm going to just take that apart and I'm going to tin over it if that makes it easier. I don't care at this point. I just want to make sure I get it right, and I'll heat shrink it. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do the front doors first or the rear window. I really don't know which one is more difficult, so I think I'm going to go with the front doors because I think they're more straightforward, so I can mentally prepare myself for that rear window. If I screw up the rear window a second time, then I will take this bad boy to somebody and say just do it, and I'll pay the extra money. But I did get 2 rolls of tint. In order to do the front doors, I got a 24-inch by 6.5 foot. That should be plenty to do both front windows. And then I got a 36-inch by 10 foot for the rear window. So, and they're 20% instead of 15% because for whatever reason it was an oddball size when I ordered it offline, but at all the stores it's 5%. 5% and 20% and 30 or 35%, something like that. They're, anyways. So I don't think side by side, I really don't think it's gonna make a difference. And if it does, at least on the fronts side by side, that's about normal because your front windows are going to be a little lighter typically by law than the rear. So I really don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. 5%? I don't think so. So here we go. We're going to jump into it today early and see if we cannot finish this out and have at least a tolerable finished product that will do what I want it to do and not look too awful. Okay, so how does this work with the front panels? From what I understand, there are 2 bolts here and 1 on the side here, small bolts. We're to remove those first. And then you pop this little cover off here, and there should be a T30, I believe, screw in there. And then there is, I see up here, where there is a area to put in either a straight edge screwdriver or maybe one of your plastic pullers, which I think that's what I'm going to do because I have plenty of them. And we could pop that off, and there should be a bolt inside, and then it should just pop up and come off, unhook the electronics. I saw a tip on another YouTube channel, and I'll try to remember to put him in here for credit when I edit the video, but he suggested to hold this back piece down when you let loose here. Apparently the clip back here, if you don't, because the wires put tension on this electronic, they have a habit of breaking. When you pop this up, this will snap up and snap that and sever that clip back here. So he said just a simple adjustment is to hold this in the back like this when you pop this loose, and that will keep the tension off of this, and it'll slip right out without breaking that. So that's the method I am going to follow as well. By the way, I'm using 9/32 for these. These could be a 7mm. My 7mm must have went off with the 10 or the 8 that got lost in the dashboard. Thing they suggest is to pop this off here. Have just a little plastic puller. Maybe I can get that in there, I hope. So I'm gonna try to find something a little better. I'm trying not to use a flathead because I don't want to scratch my door panel up. So I'm trying to find something plastic that's non-abrasive. So I just looked, I didn't have anything smaller in one of my plastic pullers, so I just got a small screwdriver. Just try to be careful on this. There we go. Cool. Now that worked, didn't scratch anything, but that's simple. All right, I believe this is a T30. T25. Which doesn't want to come out. There we go. Try not to lose it. Now I'm going to go back to my plastic puller, and remember he said the clamp is from the back. If we get in here. Pop this up. There we go. And it appears we did not break either tab, so that's good. And there is a bolt down there. All right, so I'll go ahead and I'll unplug our electronics. There's two here that just got push down tabs. This one's got a push down tab as well. That one looks like I might have to use that screwdriver on. Actually, no, that should have a push down tab too. Yep, there we go. They said I needed a screwdriver to push that down, but you don't actually. So, and this bolt here, oh, I bet it's the same size. Right. Yep, that is also either 7mm or 8mm, but anyways, 9/32. We'll get that just fine. And I'm just using a 1/4" drive, nothing fancy or large. Use that down in there. Good. All right, I'm actually going to keep that one separate. I don't think it matters. They all look the same. Oh, you know what? I have a light down here. Try not to slide my panel across the concrete. Okay, that's for the trunk release here. There we go. That is for the trunk release. Now that I can get this out of the way. And of course I'm doing this after yesterday and I'm hurting pretty good on the back. So this is not feeling well today. Now, why am I doing this? Primarily because I want to try to extract this weather stripping to expose the bottom of the window. That way when I go to put the tint on, I basically can lay it on the top and just let it fall. Like I said, most tint people, they have tools that can do this without pulling your door panels, but I'm not one of those. So I got to go the extra step, extra work, and try to figure out how to pop this out. Most of this stuff should just pop out. They've got clips, but I'm going to do a quick research on this and make sure there's nothing back here other than clips, because I certainly don't want to break this and have to buy a new piece. So I'm going to break for a minute and see how this comes apart. Okay, I just looked at a video, and after I show you how he removed this sweep, they call it, probably you're going to wonder, well then why did we bother moving the door panel? I still had a problem with the door panel being in the way, and that's because at this point it sweeps up. So even if I wanted to remove this, I don't think I could really get that window tint laid in there properly, so I am glad to have this out of the way. I was supposed to move this cap. When I did, there's a metal holder, I believe, that fell inside the door. So I'm going to take my, find an entry point, and I'm going to take my magnet and get that bag out so I can pop that cap off. Only reason why I took it off is because to put door panel back in, I think it was going to be in the way. So But anyway, supposedly, now he did it with the windows down. I can hook my controller back up and remove and pull the window down, but I'm gonna have to pop this back in once the tint's on. So I'm gonna try to do this with the window up, so I know how to put this back in without damaging the tint. Supposedly, you can just get in the corner here and twist and pop up, and it's supposed to come up. We'll see if that is the case. Look at that. And it does. I mean, that was simple. Nice. Now I have full access to the window, which is exactly what I need. So, how simple was that? Yeah, it's just basically, looks like, yeah, just clips right on top here. It's a full rubber molding, so yeah, okay, cool. So now you know. I'll clean my hands, I'm gonna clean this window again, and we're gonna see if we can't get this tint put on. Oh, I'm gonna have to cut it. It's not pre-cut, so I gotta do that too. So before I didn't have to think about this, I wasn't going to clean the outside of the windows with alcohol because you're not tinting the outside. But now that we have to cut the tint, it's recommended that you clean the outside, because even though you're going to be using adhesive side in as your orientation, adhesive side out as your orientation, you want to have a clean surface, because your outward facing tint or inward facing tint is going to be against that, so you don't want to contaminate it. So I'm going to be using rubbing alcohol to clean the window, just so we have a clean surface even here to use. And being I'm going to be draping it over some of this, I'm even going to do the outer portion. I'm going to cut the tint out here, and then using the weather stripping and a little over the front here by 1 inch. So I'm basically going to cut a strip that way, and then I got to remember to reverse it. Although if I don't, I could use it on the other window if I don't remember to do that. So anyway, I also snapped off a new blade. So first off, I'm just gonna get an orientation here of where I need to cut. Cut me a piece right there. So I simply use for this cut just scissors, because I just need to get a piece down, cut down the sides. Now it also, you want to wet it just like you're going to be putting the tint on, because you want it to stick to the window so you can do your cuts. You kind of want it to lay it out. I'm going to squeegee that. Grab that. So you want to squeegee it. Kind of get it close. When you make the cuts, you know, you're dealing with the straight edges. So I've got enough here that I can make my cuts. Now, again, using the weather stripping, don't press real hard. Use these knives like I've got here. It comes with the kit. So just lightly cut the tint. Around that weather stripping. As long as you're not pushing real hard, you're just letting the blade do its job, you should be good. slip because it wants to follow that. I may have just ruined this piece, but I don't think so. I've got plenty up here, so I think when it falls down below that, it'll be fine. Normally, I would just say screw it and leave the suds and stuff on the other side. But I don't want to confuse myself as I'm squeegeeing this. So I'm going to clean the outside of that window again so it's clear and I can just watch what's inside happening when I squeegee it. So I've wiped the suds and stuff off the outside. Why did I do that? Again, when I'm messing around with the tint, I don't want to have what I think is suds floating around and ends up being just on the outside. So I kind of want a clean canvas. Now I'll clean the inside of this window with alcohol, and we will see if we can get this tint on here. All right, I was saying earlier that I thought that the outer facing, inside facing part of the tint was going to be on the outside of the roll, and I am incorrect on that, which when you think about it makes sense. You want to protect the tint so that you would have that inside the roll. When I pull it apart, this piece I just cut will go on the passenger side window. And by the way, a lesson that I just learned, remember that the kit yesterday come with these little tape pieces you use to separate and it wasn't working right? Scotch tape, I just used it on here. If you have the excess, you're cutting your own, that is the way to go. It is sticking to the tint, no problem am I having pulling it apart at all. But lesson learned on the tint, it makes sense. It doesn't say on the box, it says there's instructions inside. There is not any instructions, so somebody just flat missed to put that in this roll. But that's okay, because my template is still the same. We'll just apply this to the other side. Kind of cool though, I can now take another piece of tint and I can just cut it the same size as this, and I'm ready to go on that door. So, that door. Anyways, always good to just take a minute, step aside, and just double check stuff. Because I would have peeled this if I hadn't have, and we would have went to put it on it. Would have been, I'd have ruined the piece. So, yeah. Did I mention I have not done this before? Yeah, no, I haven't done this before. So I'm learning, you're learning. If you already knew how to do this and you're laughing at me, that's okay too, because everybody's got to start somewhere, right? I do a lot of things on these cars. There's a lot I know how to do. There's a lot I don't know how to do. That's one of them I don't know how to do. So, anywho, but I'm learning and I'm enjoying it. So, even though it was a bit defeating yesterday, you know, you wake up the next day and go, I will not let this get the best of me, and go at it again. Remind myself that that window needs to go back up. I'm going to leave that annoying buzzer going. I'm going to leave the keys in, and I'm going to, hopefully, that'll constantly remind me, window up, window up, window up, window up, window up, window up, window up. See how well that works out for me. What I did there is I had some pretty good long fingers, which they call that when you're researching it. That's where air and solution is trapped. On the other side I was able to get them out, but on this side I had a couple that just would not go away. As a matter of fact, they were growing. So I decided to go ahead and do the heat shrink method. And you got to be careful with it, because what I'm seeing is yes, I finally did get those bubbles out, those fingers, which is good, but I also started to see other bubbles starting to pop up. Well, I guess what that means is you're expanding the air that's trapped underneath, and that's fine. So that found some additional pockets, and I worked those out. Now those fingers are gone now. I don't see those hanging around anymore. I've got a couple spots right up in here. I might hit but just trying to be careful. And I remembered. Alright, well, second attempt at the back glass. I tried to heat shrink it first and cut it down where it'll fit better. It did fit better. I still trimmed, but second attempt sucks too, just like the first attempt. It's a little better, but not by much. So, yeah, the key I think is getting the tent heat shrunk. Although yesterday's first attempt was with a pre-cut that was heat shrunk, supposedly. But I did not use heat on it when I applied it, and maybe I should have. This one I tried to pre-shrink after I cut it on the back of the window, and it still got pockets, and looks pretty ghetto from the outside. But it's better, but I'll probably end up taking it off and paying someone to redo it. Front windows don't look too bad, even though I made a mistake on that one place. I've left the door panels off all day just to kind of let that tent set up some. I will be popping those on here very shortly. And then I'll get a final shot of everything so you can see at least what it looks like. So, well, we'll go from there. The tent is on. Wasn't there a Glenn Frey song like that? I digress. So got the visor done. We'll take a little walk around here. Try not to kill myself. And I did get the front tent on. Back's done. All right. Now the passenger front and rear, they don't actually look that bad. Would I pay for this tent job? Nope. But is the car tinted? Yeah. Will it last very long? Bad one. The rear window. Second attempt, same problem. It's better than it was yesterday. Not by much. Just a lot of pockets. I tried to heat shrink it, and it's just not having it. So, there you go. My first attempt at my own tent job. Kudos to you that put tent on, all of you tent work people. Don't know how you do it as quick as you do. I mean, we had tent done on my wife's car, her Escape, and that gentleman did that probably in 2 hours. So, and he didn't pull any door panels. Of course, most of them don't. They have the right tools to do this, but it's better than not having tent, as far as I'm concerned. As far as the side windows and the visor, I can live with that. But at least it will protect me from the sun. It'll give me some relief now that the hotter months are approaching, and we'll just see how long it lasts. But I did use the True Line tent package from Amazon, $179 with the kit. I think their product's fine. I really do. It's just people like me that can't apply it correctly. So, but I thought it was good. The replacement tent is Gilla. I got that at AutoZone, and it's just 5% off, but you can't even tell, and that's fine. I didn't think you could. Now I'm going to do a little trick that I learned from the gentleman that did my wife's car. He put painter's tape across the window controllers and the rear defrosters on hers as a reminder to not put windows down or use your defroster for the first couple days. Actually, we're going to go probably 3. So anyways, that's it. We're done. I hope you guys somewhat enjoyed this episode, and hope you keep following us. Like, share, comment, tell me what you think. Make fun of me, I don't care at this point. It is what it is. Anyways, you guys have a blessed day. Take care.